Good day. Thank you for tuning in to this 2017 general election candidate forum for Tumwater City Mayor. The forum is presented by the League of Women Voters of Thurston County and TC Media. The League is a nonprofit organization that encourages the informed and active participation of citizens in their government. The League neither supports nor opposes candidates or parties. We are nonpartisan. The League registers new voters, studies issues, and advocates for its positions with the governing bodies. Despite its name, the League is open to both men and women of age 16 and up. I'm Mary Moore from the League, and I'll be moderating this forum. The candidate for Tumwater City Mayor is Pete Komet. The other candidate is not participating in the forum. For this forum, the candidate will have 2 minutes for an opening statement, and then I'll ask questions. The candidate will have 2 minutes for response. There will be 1 minute for a closing statement at the end. We'll begin with an opening statement from Pete Komet.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Mary. And first of all, I'd just like to thank the League of Women Voters for this opportunity to have a chance to chat with the community. I'm Pete Komet. I'm running for Tumwater's mayor. I've been mayor now for almost 8 years, and so I'm up for re-election this fall. It's been my honor to serve as Tumwater's mayor. I think during the terms that I've been mayor, we've accomplished a lot, and I want to continue that work. We're working hard, for example, to facilitate redevelopment of the brewery and revitalizing the Capitol Boulevard corridor. And as a result of that work, you're beginning to see some progress, a new development called the Craft District being under construction right now near the Valley Athletic Club and the Tumwater Golf Course. So I think it's a pretty cool project. It'll bring a couple of distilleries and a small brewery to that part of Tumwater. Thanks to the voters, we've strengthened our police and fire services. We've also engaged in the beginning of our largest program to repave our streets in Tumwater. This year alone, we're spending $2 million on repaving our streets. One of the cool things we're doing is a unique partnership with the Boys and Girls Club in the school district and Grub. We've created a summer youth employment program, and I'm very proud to have been part of that effort. So it looks like my time is almost up here. I'll just say that we're working on a wide variety of issues in Tumwater. I'm glad that I'm part of it, and I hope to continue those efforts in the future. So thank you for listening.
Thank you, Pete. Now for the questions.
All righty.
What will you do to promote quality of life for your citizens in Tumwater, given the proliferation of state offices?
Well, a good question. I don't see state offices as a detrimental thing to Tumwater. These are some of the highest paid, best benefit jobs in the area. And so for me, I think it's how do we engage those folks, bring them into the community. A lot of them already contribute. They're part of our youth sports programs. They participate as coaches or officials. They often participate in our volunteer programs in the city. So I think it's great having a solid base of state agencies in Tumwater. We also, of course, are trying to attract other businesses to diversify our base of employment, and I think we're beginning to see the successes of those efforts as we start to see some microbrews and other businesses come in to Tumwater. That all didn't happen by accident. We set a strategic goal of redeveloping the brewery, and as part of that was to try to work with the brewing and distilling industry, try to build contacts within that group, get them interested in Tumwater, and ultimately work with folks who provide space for businesses like that to try and connect them and bring them into Tumwater. So always we're trying to figure out a way to provide for development in a way that minimizes the impacts on both existing residents and businesses, but also respects our environment and Tumwater's history, which has a deep history. So So there's a lot of things we're doing to try and move in that direction.
Do you believe the city should attract more commercial development? And if so, where?
We already have a very solid base of commercial development in Tumwater. Certainly our power center, with as I would call it, with along Tyee Drive with Fred Meyer, Costco, Walmart, Home Depot, and now the new Toyota dealership, bring a lot of retail sales tax to Tumwater. And we see that continuing to grow to the south, to eventually to Tumwater Boulevard. Port has almost 1,000 acres of land in Tumwater, some of which, of course, can't be used because it's for the airport. But there's certainly a myriad of development opportunities there for commercial property. And we're seeing some of the areas around the airport develop. And, you know, I think for Tumwater, of course, you know, the heart of Tumwater has been the brewery property for years. It's been vacant for way too long. We continue to work with the owners of that property to try and make something happen. And then lastly, I'd just say Capitol Boulevard itself is a core area of our commercial part of Tumwater, and will continue to be for the foreseeable future. Again, we're trying to figure out ways to help improve the aesthetics of that corridor, the movement of traffic through that area, as well as provide for safer ways for people that want to take bicycles or walk or take the bus to get through that area. So there's a lot of areas that I think have great potential for future commercial development in Tumwater.
Other than public safety, what are your 3 top budget issues?
Well, public safety is a biggie. I mean, that's more than half of our budget, just police and fire. I think some of the other challenges, top 3. I'd say certainly keeping our streets maintained, even with the benefit district, transportation benefit district sales tax that the voters approved here now a couple of years ago. Will barely stay even over the 10-year life of that program, and that's going to infuse well over $10 million into street maintenance. So street maintenance is a big deal. Parks, I think, is an area where we've fallen behind. In fact, we have a task force together right now, kind of looking at that issue. We're going to be doing a community survey to see what the community thinks about our park system and if they're willing to pay for expanding that system. Yeah, I think those are probably the biggest needs that I can think of from a city perspective. Of course, there's a broader community issue with just affordable housing and those sorts of things. We can talk about that more later, probably. Thank you.
Okay. How is growth impacting Tumwater? What effect does it have on your infrastructure, traffic, water, the environment? And how would you propose to deal with it? Is there an optimal population for Tumwater?
Well, Tumwater is required under state law to accommodate a certain amount of growth under the Growth Management Act. And the state projects what that growth is, and then we have to plan to accommodate that. Clearly that growth and the growth we've seen over the last 20 plus years I've been involved in the city has an impact. Traffic increases, we get more runoff from developed areas. It has to be managed. Trees come down. There's light, you know, that you wouldn't see where it might be darker at night. A wide variety of environmental impacts occur. What we've tried to do is figure out a way to accommodate this development, but do it in a way that, again, minimizes impacts on existing residents and businesses. Have them pay for the infrastructure that they need. Everybody that hooks up to water has to pay a fee, and that helps pay for the basic infrastructure of the water system. Same with the sewer system. Stormwater has to be appropriately handled. They pay traffic impact fees that we use then to improve the road system. So we do a number of things to try and manage that. Ultimately, though, there are impacts. It's a matter of trying to balance those. In terms of optimum population, I'm not sure there's an optimum per se. I think Tumwater, like most communities under the state tax system, you really have to have some level of growth in your economy, just the way the state tax system is set up. And so I think a slow but moderate growth, something that we've seen over the last 10 years or so, I think it is appropriate for Tumwater and will likely continue in the future.
What would be your 3 major challenges as mayor?
Well, our biggest challenge has to be redevelopment of the brewery property. We've done a lot to try and help facilitate that property redevelopment, but it's in 2 ownerships. The historic part is owned by a company out of Tacoma. The more modern part of the brewery, if you want to call it that, is owned by a developer out of California. And we've worked with them to try to help move that project forward. We're still a ways, I think, from seeing something happen there, but that clearly is a major priority for us. I think maintaining another big challenge is always maintaining public safety services. Is very expensive to run 24/7 police and fire services. Like I say, it's already half of our budget, and it'll probably grow over time. So that's another big challenge for us. And I think probably trying to keep our utility costs reasonable are another area that I hear sometimes about. I'd like to make sure that we pay attention to that.
Good. All right. Now, Pete, you have 1 minute for a closing statement.
It's over already? Oh my
over.
goodness. Well, I'd just like to say again, thanks to the League for the opportunity to learn a little bit more about me and provide the community with some information. I think we've accomplished a lot in my 2 terms as mayor, and I hope I can be reelected to continue that work. Some of the priorities that we've talked about, but I'll just reemphasize for me in this next term, would be continue to focus on redevelopment of the brewery and revitalization of Capitol Boulevard, including trying to deal with some of the congestion there. Protecting and enhancing our neighborhoods, including fixing our streets and enhancing our park system that serves those neighborhoods, and managing growth in a way that contributes quality to our community, but also protects the environment and respects our history. And then lastly, I put a lot of effort into citizen involvement and information, and I want to continue that as well. So I think I have the experience and the ability to come up with solutions that can deal with some pretty complex problems that we deal with today at local government. And I hope you will agree and support and vote for me this fall. Thank you.
Well, thank you for participating in the League of Women Voters primary election forum for City Council mayor position. And we encourage viewers to vote on the general election. Please do. On or before November 7th, 2017. The League particularly thanks TC Media for their ongoing support and assistance.